Okay, what's up, everyone? We're officially live, Swinging Bull, back again for another earnings stream. We got KB Homes, and then we also have ticker symbol FUL, which is HB Fuller Company, FUL. All right. We go to 1 minute chart on these. We'll go over some data first. I think we got a few minutes to burn here before they actually report. KB Home supposed to report at 4:10 p.m. Eastern, and their forecast EPS is $1.50. Forecast revenue $1.61 billion. And just a quick peek at their annual chart here. Anchor VWAP just below $60. They're trading above that today. And HB Fuller Company supposed to report at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. And the forecast EPS $1.24, forecast revenue $891.9 million, and just a quick peek at their annual chart here. They're also trading around $60, but their anchored VWAP just above 60. They were trading just below that today. So we should be getting their earnings data here any minute now, and of course we'll get HB Fuller Company. We'll get them first, and then KB Home should come right after that at 4:10. But let me go to 2-chart view on Webull. We'll take a look here. Okay, let me go put in the ticker symbol, KBH, and then FUL. There we go. All right, so coming into the earnings, KB Home had a trailing 12-month PE ratio of 8.26 and EPS of 7.55. They do pay a dividend too, 1.6%, so a little cherry on top there. Free float 65 million. Do got a little bit of volatility going on right now. And same thing with Fuller HB Company. But again, back to KB Home. Looked at what their PE ratio and EPS was going into the earnings and their income statement. They are a profitable company. Last two reports, though, their year-over-year numbers were kind of red, but that's okay. Nonetheless, they're still a profitable company. They usually range between 100 million to 200 million in positive net income every quarter. The last earnings, they were kind of on the low end of that range. Debt to asset for KB Homes, only 43%, so that's pretty good. And cash and equivalents for KB Home, 310 million as of May 31st. So let's see what their earnings reaction is going to be here. Ticker symbol FUL, which is a Fuller HB Company. They're supposed to report first, so let's see what kind of condition the company was in going into this earnings with them. So Fuller HB Company, trailing 12-month PE 32.21, EPS 1.84. They also pay a dividend, 1.5%. So both these companies pay a dividend, right around the same amount as far as percentage goes. 53 million float. And let's look at the income statement. Okay, they are a profitable company. It's like Q4 of last year. They took a little bit of a hit and had negative net income, but outside of that, 4 of 5 quarters were net positive, profitable annual basis. Okay, 5 years in a row profitability on the annual basis, but quarterly, like I said, they did take a little bit of a hit in Q4 last year. Year-over-year numbers recent could be a little bit better. It's 4:04 p.m. Their debt to asset 63%, so that's fine. And cash and equivalents 96 million. Let's go back to the candlesticks here. So ticker symbol FUL. Like I said, we'll get them first, and then we'll get KB Homes 5 minutes later, around 4:10 p.m. Eastern. Got almost 100 people tuning in. Mixture of X. We're streaming on X, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Good to see everybody. And it's officially 4:05 p.m. Eastern. So Fuller HB Company's data should be coming out any moment now. Look at my other screen, and also the implied move for KB Homes is about 9.5%. So they closed the regular session at $62.39. I'll just do $62, but 9.5% implied move. That's going to be like a almost a $6 move, either up or down. That's for KB Homes. Fuller HB Company, their implied move is 8.8%. They closed the regular session a little above 59. 59 times 0.088. So yeah, like a $5 move, up or down. We'll see. Getting a little candle, a little 1 minute candle here, wicked up to 61.07. We'll see if it holds up there. This was kind of trading on low volume today. Overall, they kind of trade on low volume. That's Fuller HB Company. Average 3-month volume, 472,000. They had 491,000 volume today. So not a lot of volume, but looks like they're getting a positive reaction. Let's give it a second for the price to kind of settle in here. And as soon as I get EPS revenue, I'll definitely share that with everybody. Let me scroll down here. Now, if we look at the bigger time frames, if it ends up being a positive reaction, probably be looking right around here, right around $64, probably be good target there on the upside. Almost a 10% move, if you will. That's kind of where resistance was back in July, and then it was also resistance earlier this month, a few weeks ago, right below $64. That's probably going to be my resistance level number one, or target, if you will, if they get a positive reaction. On the downside, I'd probably be looking in the mid 50s, probably around $55. If they get a negative reaction, I'd be looking for the price to maybe settle down around there, and maybe that's a level of demand right around 55 to $56, right around there. So let me go back intraday and see what the price is doing. Okay, so initially they had a positive reaction. Now it retraced all the way back down. So sitting here in after hours, right below where it closed the regular session at. So let's just give it a second. Price is kind of popping around a little bit right now. And then in just a few more minutes, we should have KB Home. I know most people are probably here for KB Home. Maybe we'll get an indication on how the housing market's doing for new home builders and things of that nature. So let me scroll down here. Looks like the earnings are out. This is from AI Stock Savvy. Let me just pull this graphic over. This is for FUL, Fuller HB Company. Let me minimize that. I'll keep the chart on the right here, but let's see here. So EPS, the expectation was 1.24, and they just reported 1.26. And revenue expectation was 893 million. They just reported 892 million. So just a tiny miss on revenue, but they did beat the EPS. So we go back over here and see if we can get any commentary from the CEO or CFO or anything like that. But the earnings kind of came in line, to be honest with you. Not really a, for the EPS, it wasn't really a big beat. They just beat it by a little bit. In the revenue, they just missed by a little bit. Overall, I think it came in line, to be honest with you. Let me go to their investor relations page and see if I can find some more info for everybody. And then we're going to go over to KB Homes, because they should be reporting any minute now. Volstag on YouTube, how you doing? Good to see you. Go to investor relations on HB Fuller HB Company. Okay, September 24th. I'll just move this over here. Here's the third quarter results. Let me see if I can get any commentary or anything like that. So again, EPS $1.22. Adjusted EPS diluted of $1.26. That is up 12% year over year. Net income of $67 million. That's up 3% year over year. Investors not really liking it too much though, because the price is red in after hours, almost down 4% in after hours. But let's just read a few things for H.B. Fuller. Net revenue for the third quarter of fiscal 2025 was $892 million, down 2.8% versus the third quarter, same time last year. Adjusting for the flooring divestiture, net revenue was up 1.6% year over year. Gross profit margin was 32%. Adjusted gross profit margin was 32.3%. It's up 190 basis points year on year, driven principally by favorable net pricing and raw material cost actions, the impact of acquisitions and divestitures, and cost reduction efforts. Net income, $67 million. We kind of already went over that. Cash flow from operations increased 13% year on year to $99 million. Okay, let's just go over this summary here. The company's net revenue. Okay, a lot of this we kind of already went over, so let me just scroll down a little bit. Selling, general, and administration expense was $175 million. Net income was $67 million. We already went over that. We already went over the EPS. Here's some commentary from the CEO. We're going to go over to KB Homes right after this. So, commenting on the third quarter, H.B. Fuller President and CEO Celeste Mastin said, "We delivered a strong quarter, evidenced by continued margin expansion and double-digit EPS growth despite the challenging operating environment." Again, they're trading in the red in after hours here, so we'll see if they make some sugarcoating statements here to kind of our continued operational discipline, strong execution, and ongoing portfolio shift keep us on track to achieve our greater than 20% margin target. Despite our strong performance, we remain cautious and have tightened our guidance range for the year to reflect a globally subdued economic backdrop. All right, so that's the catch. Their earnings kind of came in line. They beat EPS. They missed revenue just by a little bit, but it looks like they reduced their guidance. Per the CEO, their exact words were, "We remain cautious and have tightened our guidance range for the year to reflect a globally subdued economic backdrop. Looking forward, we expect volume growth to remain elusive and end market conditions to be challenging. However, we continue to actively focus on enhancing the composition of our portfolio, driving continued efficiencies, and structurally repositioning the company for growth and continued margin expansion, consistent with our long-term strategy." But the big catch is the guidance. Okay, so they lowered the guidance. That's never a good thing for investors. Of course, investors are forward-looking, and guidance is forward-looking. So anytime they reduce the guidance downwards, the stock's going to take a hit, and that's what we're seeing with H.B. Fuller right now. So, I mean, it's not down too much. Trading at 56.75 in after hours. Again, the support level that I was looking at on the bigger time frames, probably going to put it right in the mid 50s. That was demand back here in August, almost 2 months ago. So I would expect that the price to maybe find some demand around that level. It's kind of trading just above that now, so be like 55 to 56 bucks, kind of like a $1 demand level. So support level number one for H.B. Fuller, around 55, 56 bucks, trading just above that right now. So let's see if that level can hold for the remainder of after hours, and then we'll see what the price does here. So we got the earnings results for H.B. Fuller. Let me find out when their earnings web call is. We're getting some volatility on KB Homes, but it's kind of flat right now. But it initially had a positive reaction to almost 64.50, then came down to 61, and now it's back basically right where it closed the regular session at. So a little indecision going on here on KB Homes, but that's okay. We'll let the price kind of settle and marinate a little bit and see which direction it decides to go. But H.B. Fuller Company, let's see when their earnings web call is and how we get there. And I'll post that link for everyone, whoever wants to see the earnings web call for H.B. Fuller. Again, H.B. Fuller reduced guidance. That's why they're in the red about 4.5% in the red in after hours. Let's find out when their earnings web call is. Let's take a look. And we're going to go back over to KB Homes. We've got a little bit of buying coming in on KB Homes right now, but let me just slide this over here just for a minute. And let's see when. It's probably going to be events and presentations. Okay, it doesn't look like the earnings web call is until tomorrow. It's not until tomorrow. So I'm showing September 25th for the earnings conference call. And a little hyperlink here for the webcast, but let me post this link in the comments. Let me do this here. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put this on the bottom of my screen. If anyone wants to go to the H.B. Fuller earnings web call, it's not until tomorrow. And let me see what time it's going to be. It'll probably tell me here. Yeah, it's 10:30 in the morning tomorrow. So I know H.B. Fuller's in the red here. It's like there's a little bit of buying. I mean, it's working on a green candle. Again, trading on low volume, only 500,000 volume today. Got an order of 1,200, a size of 1,200 on the level 2, 56.50. Another little level around 55. Got some orders on the ask, got $60 a share. So we'll see if those orders end up getting filled or if they just get pulled or what. But 10:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow is when they're going to do their earnings web call. So maybe there's a secondary move when they do their earnings web call tomorrow morning. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see tomorrow morning and see if that's what the deal is. So we got the earnings data on H.B. Fuller. Again, they beat revenue just by a little bit. I'm sorry, excuse me. They beat EPS just by a little bit, and they missed revenue just by a little bit. I say, like, from a bird's eye view, it came in line really. So, and of course the negative reaction and some of the selling we're seeing is because they lowered their guidance. Okay. So we got what we needed for H.B. Fuller as far as their EPS revenue. We found out they lowered their guidance, and their earnings web call isn't until tomorrow morning after the opening bell. It's at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, so an hour after the regular session starts. But so let me go to KB Home. Yeah, I did notice that Stitch Fix was also reporting. I'll take a gander at them. Let me just take a look here. Yeah, Stitch Fix right here. Their forecast EPS was negative 0.13. Forecast revenue 301 million. And yeah, their data should be out as well. Anchored VWAP just below $5. They were trading in the mid fives going into this earnings. But yeah, we can take a little peek at. So not really much going on with H.B. Fuller right now, because their earnings web call is until tomorrow morning. But the price did take an overall negative reaction, down 1.6% in after hours. Again, they lower guidance, so that's kind of what happens when they lower guidance. So, pop up. Let me get rid of that. SFix, Stitch Fix. Let's take a look at SFix. See what's going on with them. Okay, they got a positive reaction. Look at that. They were actually up 3.3% today. If you kind of zoom out here, they actually had looks like they had a decent pre-market, not much of a pre-market. Let's see here, but they are getting a positive reaction, up 12%, up 12% in after hours. I'll have to look them up and see what their data was. I'll do that right now. But also while I'm pulling that up, I'm gonna pull up another screen and get the KB Homes data. That obviously is out as well. Let me just scroll down here. Big Ryan, shout out to Big Ryan on X. Provided some good data for us on EPS and revenue. I'll post that on the bottom of my screen here. And give me 1 second. Okay. There we go. And boom, now it's on the bottom of my screen. So EPS, again, the estimate was $1.49. They just reported $1.61, so beat EPS. This is for KB Homes. And the revenue estimate was at $1.59 billion. They just reported $1.62 billion. So double beat on KB Home. And here's a nice little graphic here from the earnings correspondent. We'll pull this over. EPS, we just went over this. So for the forecast was $1.49, and they reported $1.61. So they beat that by 8%. Revenue forecast was 1.59 billion. They reported 1.62 billion. That's what's on the bottom of my screen right now. So double beat on KB Homes. Year over year numbers. Okay, EPS is down 21% year over year. I don't think investors like that too much. Revenue was down 8% year over year. So no growth on the annual basis as far as year over year numbers go regarding EPS and revenue. That's not good, but even though they beat the forecast today for EPS and revenue year over year, there's just no growth there. Quarter over quarter, little green there, more of a shorter term view, I guess. So that's the EPS and sales revenue for KB Home. Let's see if I can find some other information for everybody. They did have a net income of 109.8 million, so they are still pulling a profit. Also, KB Home, they repurchased 188.5 million dollars of stock and saw improved affordability as mortgage rates eased. So they do have an ongoing stock repurchase program, and they just reported that they've already repurchased 188.5 million of the stock. So that's a good thing. Let me see if I can find some commentary. Okay, guidance. Okay, KB Home looks like they reduced fiscal year 2025 guidance for housing revenue. That's not good. That's why they're not up. That's why they're not green right now. This is why they're down 1.4%. Again, see, that's the thing. We see this time and time again. A company beats EPS, they beat revenue. And then they make a negative adjustment to their guidance, and that's all it takes. And investors are going to sell that. So housing revenue, the estimate for the guidance for the remainder of this year was 6.26 billion. That was the estimate for the guidance. And they said it's going to be more like 6.10 billion. All right, so they lowered guidance. That's definitely a red ding there on the earnings data. And again, that's why it's red in after hours. I'll go to Stitch Fix here in a second. Average selling price. This is some interesting information. Tuatage on YouTube. Absolutely. Guidance definitely has a lot more weight than EPS and revenue. You spot on with that. But some interesting info here. The average selling price for a KB home, a new home from KB Homes, $483,000 is their average selling price. Interesting. You know, 3 to 5 years ago, it was probably half that. These housing prices are just so high right now. Over here in Florida, we are seeing some markets pull back a little bit, though. Maybe a little 3%, 5% pullback here and there in some of the housing markets over here in Florida. But anyways, average selling price for KB Homes, $483,000. Housing gross margin, around 19%. No inventory charges there. Effective tax rate, 23%. The total amount of communities that KB Home has, they have 260 communities. That was their ending community count that they just reported. Let's talk about orders and backlog. Net orders of 2,950. That's down 4% year over year. Monthly net orders per community, 3.8. That's lower versus the prior year. Cancellation rate. This is interesting, as I've seen the trend too in the real estate market. A lot of contracts are getting canceled. People are getting cold feet. Sometimes it has to do with their financing not going through, but a lot of canceled contracts. We've seen an increase in canceled contracts with homes. Their cancellation rate is 17%. That's double-digit cancellation rate there. And that's up 200 basis points from same time last year. Ending backlog. Okay, 4,333. So that's like the backlog of homes that they still need to build. 4,333. That's down 24% year over year. So even their backlog is down. Ending backlog value, just about $2 billion. That's down 32% year over year. So not really good data on net orders and cancellation rate and backlog. However, the price is holding up. It's actually green now after being a little red. Working on a new candle, or it's about 20 seconds left on this current print, but it's actually green, 1.5% here in after hours. So they did double beat, but they did lower housing revenue guidance. Let's look at a few other things. Balance sheet and cash returns. All right, let's see if we can get some positive information here. All right, so balance sheet and cash returns. Liquidity, 1.16 billion. That's how much liquidity they have. That's good. Cash, 330 million. Inventories, 5.8 billion in inventory. That's up 6% versus November of last year. Land and development investments, 1.95 billion. Lots owned or under contract, 65,251. Stockholders' equity, 3.9 billion. Book value per share, $60.25. That's up 11% year over year. Book value per share. All right, the share repurchase program we were talking about earlier, 3.3 million shares for 188.5 million in Q3. All right, so that's how much they repurchased in Q3. $188 million worth of shares, which equates to 3.3 million shares. There's still 7.8 million shares consisting of, which represents 438 million year to date. The remaining authorization on their share repurchase program, 261.5 million, returned $490 million plus to stockholders in the first 9 months. That's over buybacks and dividends combined. And some commentary from the CEO. We met and exceeded our guidance across key metrics while reducing build times and costs to build. Affordability improved as mortgage rates eased, and our value-focused, transparent sales approach remained consistent. Look, KB Homes, after being green just now right back to right below where it closed at. So kind of some indecision going on with KB Home. It was up, then it was down, then it was up, now it's back down. Now it's kind of back to baseline. So indecision. We'll find out. Well, here's a little more commentary here. We expect to continue repurchasing shares in Q4 of this year and next year, fiscal year 2026. Remaining committed to enhancing long-term stockholder value. So just a couple side notes there about the fact that they are going to continue repurchasing shares in Q4 and then into next year. And got some data here from Alpha Sense. This is from the CEO. His name's Jeffrey Mesger. We achieved solid financial results in our third quarter, meeting or exceeding our guidance ranges across the key metrics for our business. That's the previous guidance, but we already know they reduced the guidance on a few things, which more specifically, it's the housing revenue was the guidance was reduced on that. But it looks like the rest of the guidance kind of came in line and they met those thresholds. And Jeffrey Metzger, the CEO, he says, operationally, our execution was outstanding as we continued to make meaningful progress in reducing both our build times and costs to build. So they're building homes quicker, which I don't necessarily think is a good thing. Like, I see them cutting corners and stuff. We've all heard stories about new home builders and how some of them cut corners sometimes. But nonetheless, they said they're reducing the time it takes to build the homes and they've reduced the costs to build the homes. Our sales approach in the quarter remained consistent and straightforward, focused on offering home buyers the most compelling value at a transparent price. As the quarter progressed, we were encouraged to see affordability improving as mortgage interest rates began to ease. We talked about that earlier. And another little commentary note from the CEO, our healthy balance sheet, which we know they have, I think it was like 1.5 to $2 billion in liquidity that they have. So he says, our healthy balance sheet is enabling us to both position our business for future growth and reward our stockholders through a substantial return on capital. In the first 9 months of this fiscal year, we have returned more than $490 million to stockholders through share repurchases that represent approximately 11% of the shares outstanding, as well as dividends. We expect to continue repurchasing the shares in their 2025 fourth quarter and 2026 fiscal year as we remain committed to enhancing long-term stockholder value. That was from the CEO, Jeffrey Mesger. And look at KB Home back in the red. So this is just ping-ponging from red to green, indecision. How much volume did they have today? 2.27 million volume. Yeah, a little less than half of their average volume. Pardon me, a little less than double their average volume. The average volume is usually 1.4 million around there per day, and they had about 2.27 million, so a little less than double their average volume. But I still think 2 million volume on an earnings day is still kind of low, but comparing it to their average volume, it is almost double. And let's find out when their earnings web call is. And also some key points. Sales of newly built homes rose as much larger than expected, 20.5% in August compared with July, so a little month-over-month comparison. That's despite mortgage rates that are higher than they are today. And we already went over the median price of a new home sold in August was $413,500. It's an increase of 1.9% year over year. Now that was the median price of new homes sold in August, but we know as a whole their average contract price, if you will, on new homes is around $483,000. Okay, a little after 4:30. Let me see when their earnings web call is, so everyone has that information. Just going to go to their investor relations like I always do. Look at Stitch Fix, still holding up 12.59% in after hours. If I got a little bit of time, we'll go over their data. But let's take a look and see when KB Home's going to do their earnings web call, because I know people are probably waiting to see when that is and how to get there. So if you want to dig deeper into their third quarter results, their third quarter earnings results, here I'll put this link in the comments. So if anyone wants to take a closer look at that, here I'll put it on the bottom of my screen. Leave it up there for a few minutes, give people time to screenshot it. Let's go to events and updates. So here we go right here, September 24th, 2025, which is today. We got the webcast link right here, so we'll click on that. Let's see what time it's going to be. Okay, it's at 5 p.m. Eastern, all right, today. So they're going to have their earnings web call in about 30 minutes. So, hopefully the CEO, the guy Jeffrey Mesger, maybe he'll talk a little bit more about the guidance, because like I say, there was that one little red blip on their guidance. Let me see if I can go back and find it. And it was, where did I find that at? Hold on. Oh yeah, here it is. It was the housing revenue. They did reduce the housing revenue guidance a little bit, but all the other guidance kind of came in line. So we'll see what it says on the earnings call. I'm not going to personally stream it, but I always like to show everyone how to get there and provide the link and let everyone know what time it's going down. So about 25 more minutes is when their earnings web call is. All right. and we'll see if the CEO talks more about their guidance, and then maybe the stock finally picks a direction, because right now it just keeps kind of ping-ponging from green to red, and right now it's currently red, down 1%. It's only down 68 cents a share from when it closed the regular session. So if it ends up making a positive reaction, is the resistance level number one is going to be around 68 bucks. I mean, that's where it kind of got rejected from earlier this month, but about 2 weeks ago. You can see this big upper wick here. There obviously was some sellers up there waiting, and the price got pushed back down from there. That's right below $69 a share is probably going to be my resistance level number one, or you could call it a potential target to the upside if they end up getting a positive reaction. But right now it's just a little indecision. It hasn't really made a move yet. If it ends up making a negative reaction, well, actually I'll look at the volume profile for that. We go daily chart on KB Home, and if it ends up making a negative reaction, probably, I mean, this would be kind of close here, but maybe around 59 or 60 bucks. I mean, it's trading just above that now. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Let's see what we got here. You can see a little gap in the volume profile. I mean, there is still some volume that came in, but if it loses 60 bucks, you know, I think it probably come down to maybe the mid 50s. We were talking about that earlier too, but that'd be my support. 60 as S1 and probably 55 as S2. Resistance number one, 60, right below 69 bucks is probably the level there. If it ends up getting a positive reaction after they do their earnings web call, and we hear from the CEO, if it could break through 68, 69 level, I think it'd probably be back, into the mid to upper 70s before you know it. It'd probably be like a magnet and go right up there. You can see right here, right around 77 bucks before it kind of sold off. This was towards the end of last year when it kind of sold off there. But if it gets a positive reaction, I'd like to see it break 69. And then if it can do that, I'd probably be looking around the mid 70s for the next target on KB Homes. We go back intraday, and yeah, like I say, it's really not doing anything right now. It is a little red. It's down 1%. It's only down 76 cents a share, 1.22%. Not really making a move or doing anything. So probably not going to see anything until they have their earnings web call. And again, that's in about 20 minutes. But let me update everyone on my $2,500 account challenge that I started about a month ago. And I'll just pull my Twitter page over here, or not Twitter anymore, my X page. Pull my X page over. If you're liking the content, feel free to give me a follow on X. I'll post my handle in the comments. And if y'all, and also should be a link in the description of this stream that'll take you right to it. But if you're interested in following the account challenge that I started a little over a month ago, this is the current status of it. I do have an open trade on that account challenge going right now that I released to my Discord members, and I alerted to them right when I entered it. But I do put the progress and the updates on my X account, and this last update, I'm up about 9.5% on the total portfolio in just 5 weeks. And I started the account with 2,500 bucks just to prove to everyone that you don't need a lot of capital to run the wheel strategy. Yeah, Rollin on Discord. Yeah, KB Home, it's down a little bit, but it's not really doing anything. So I wouldn't even really, it's down 0.5%. I just think maybe it's waiting on the earnings web call for them to actually make a move. So yeah, not really much going on with KB Homes, unfortunately, right now. But anyway, started this wheel account challenge with 2,500 bucks just to show everyone you don't need a lot of capital to write contracts. You know, there's a misconception. People think you need like a ton of capital to write contracts, and it's just simply not true. Let me post my Twitter handle at the bottom of my screen. Matter of fact, let me do this. Actually, I'll probably just put a banner down there because I think I have one already. There we go. All right, there. So now I got a little scrolling banner down there. If you want to follow me on X, there's my handle. But anyways, yeah, started with 2,500, up 9.9.5% in just 5 weeks. The goal of the challenge is to beat the S&P annual average by 3x or more. And being up 9.5% in 5 weeks, we're well on our way to crushing that goal. And I know anyone can make a graphic and put whatever they want in it, but if you scroll down on my X account, on my feed, you can see the actual trades firsthand, screenshotted from my Fidelity account. So you got the contracts, the expiration dates, and the strike prices, when I entered and when I exited and what I profited. So we've had 7 trades on the account challenge so far, and we've had 7 winners. So we are 7 for 7 on this account challenge. So if you're interested in being included in the account challenge, where you want to follow along and actually trade with me, not financial advice, of course, it's for entertainment and education purposes. But if you want to just jump right into the trenches and get involved in this account challenge and get notified the second I enter these trades, anytime I need to manage the trades, and the moment that I take profit, if you want to know right away about those times, you got to join the Discord for that and join my coaching group. And the link to my coaching group is right there on the bottom of my screen as well. I think I got like 80 or 90 people in my coaching group right now. Everyone's making good money. And I mean, within the first batch of trades, I could probably finance 6 months worth of the monthly cost on the coaching group. The coaching group is only $39 a month. But if you follow me on X and send me a DM on X, I'll send you a 20% off code for the monthly coaching. All right. But this account challenge, that's just one piece of the coaching. I usually have 4 to 6 open trades going at one time. It's kind of like a pipeline that I have. So there's always action going on. And as I'm closing trades out for profit, I'm opening new ones. But I like to keep a nice pipeline of like 4 to 6 trades going at one time at all times. And then, of course, I have the $2,500 account challenge, which is totally separate from my regular trades that I do. But basically, most of my trades are sell to open. I write contracts. That's what I do. And that's what I show everyone how to do in the Discord. And of course, I give my alerts out in real time. So if you're looking for a new home, definitely come check us out. You can even join the Discord for free. Doesn't cost you anything. See how you like it and go from there. Or if you just want to jump right into my coaching, there's a link in the description for that as well. And also, don't forget, if you do decide to just jump in and join the coaching right away, send me a message on X, and I'll send you a 20% off code so you can save some money. But yeah, other than that, my name is the Swinging Bull in the Discord. I'm with PB Alerts. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. I do these earnings streams every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we got one more earnings stream tomorrow. And let me see. Tomorrow I'm going to be going over, let me just check right here, Costco, okay, and concentrics. But more specifically, the big one for tomorrow is Costco, okay? So I'm looking forward to that, and that's going to be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern when I stream that, okay? But yeah, hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Hope everyone enjoys the rest of their night. And until next time, I'll see everyone in the very next video. Cheers.